Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to a special coronavirus edition of My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Corey Kaufman, and today we're coming to you live via Zoom and being socially responsible as recommended.
Today we're going to learn how local Long Island restaurants have been operating during the pandemic and how they plan to operate afterwards in the new normal being created by the virus.
Corey, today we're taking on part 2 of our restaurateur interview. We have 3 local restaurant owners with us today on Zoom, ready to tell us about their business operations. First, we welcome Matt O'Hara, the owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located on Front Street in East Meadow. Matt, how you doing?
Good, hanging in there, Bill.
We also have with us today Joe Reale and his general manager, Javier. Joe is the owner of Popeyes in Bethpage. Joe, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Okay, there we go. And finally, last but not least, Deborah Zeitlin. She is the owner of Cool Z's Gluten Free in Plainview. Deborah, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we have everybody. Let's learn a little bit about the background of your business. And this time, let's start off with Deborah. Tell us about your business.
Sure. My business is a gluten-free bakery, and I have been in business for a little over 2 years. We have gluten. Everything is gluten-free. Everything can be made dairy-free, and everything is also nut-free.
And your business is a little different than the other restaurateurs, if I'm correct, from our last show. You really don't have a sit-down clientele. You sell products that basically people would come in and purchase and take out. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. I have a number of private clients, customers who come and either take delivery or pickup. I also sell to 2 Ivoroni stores, Ivoroni in Woodbury and Ivoroni in Wantagh.
And what changes do you expect to see, if you can tell us briefly, now that businesses are opening up again? How is this going to affect you?
Well, it will, God willing, affect the business in that I'll have more walk-in sales at Ivoroni. Hopefully it'll go back to what it was eventually, as people can walk around the store and browse and decide what they want, as opposed to running and grabbing whatever they need and running out. That will change. Also, I think people, as people get back to work, they'll stop baking at home, I hope, and they'll come back to me, and my private clientele will increase again.
Okay, sounds like a good plan. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
So we started back here, Brooklyn Dip and Burger, brand new company, about 7 months ago. We're a gastro pub / roast beef sandwich place that was made famous back in 1938, a place called Brennan and Carr over in Brooklyn. So we're serving the Brennan and Carr roast beef dip sandwich here. We've got a roast pork dip. We have a great steak sandwich, or crispy fried onions. Our burgers are all freshly ground here. It's an 80-20 Angus chop blend, and I was alluding before, the prices of meat have really gone through the roof, but we have a full menu, and we continue to serve the community.
And what changes do you foresee happening now that businesses are starting to open up again? How is this going to affect you?
You know, I don't know, because we haven't really crossed this point yet. What I am seeing in terms of food shortages is getting slightly worse as everybody gets these PPP loans, and under the current regulations, you have to use the money within 8 weeks. So I think people are rushing to buy product to fill the restaurants that have not been open. So prices are certainly up. Supply is limited. Hopefully we have built up a good reputation over the past 2 months by never closing, being a new business. And I think we've earned some new fans in the community, and it's helped us grow. So I don't know if I expect it to get busier or slow down, but the coming weeks will tell.
That's a very interesting point to me, because I had never thought of that, but you have to use that money within a limited period of time, and it's all going to hit at the same time when everybody opens up locally. Is that correct?
Yeah, what makes sense is to change the rules, and I think they're discussing that right now on Capitol Hill in terms of how these PPP loans need to be utilized. They got the package together very quick, and of course, nothing's going to be perfect out of the gate. So I think if they adjust that and allow business owners to use the money in different ways, in other words, don't just cap it at a 25% over allotment towards rent, add cost of goods in there, add a longer time frame, extend it to the end of summer. If you can't sit down in the restaurant and eat even until, I don't know, Cuomo's got this thing locked down until the 13th of June, then that means restaurants are more phase 2, phase 3. You're looking at middle of July. All these places are open, but nobody can come into it. You'll run through 8 weeks with nobody, nobody working at your facility. So they'll probably change it. They've seemed to do all the right things and adjust on the fly and use common sense in Washington. So I think that will change.
Joe and Javier, how about your business and a little background and how things are affecting you now that things are opening up?
Yeah, we've been in business for going on 40 years. I'm second generation. We're primarily seafood, but we got a lot of steaks, ribs, chops, pasta specials. We're known for all-you-can-eat crab legs, shrimp, and ribs. As far as the other businesses open up, I don't know if it's going to affect us that much until we're actually able to open up our dining room. I still think we'll get the to-goes, the takeouts. I think people are definitely getting eager to start coming out, and they're waiting. But as Matt said, I think we're on lockdown to minimum, till middle of July. Then maybe we'll start seeing some outside dining and stuff like that popping up. But as far as the to-goes, I think as everybody starts loosening up and gains more trust, hopefully our sales and our numbers will also go up.
And as this is developing right now, anything that you see that's going to be a big change for you as you reopen?
I think the biggest change that we're going to have to succumb is just maintaining the trust of the people. As I always mention, the sanitizing procedures. But I think the people are going to be telling us, what the changes are going to be. We're going to have to adapt to some new normals. But I do not know yet.
Very good. Corey?
Like Bill said at the beginning of the show, this is part 2 of our restaurant interview. The first part, we talked about the specific procedures restaurants are taking to sanitize and keep their employees and their customers safe, and other tips for other local businesses to do the same. Bill, where can the people hear that first part?
They can listen to WHPC 90.3 at Nassau Community College and enjoy hearing from our 3 restaurateurs at part 1, and then, of course, pick up with part 2 today and find out more how perhaps they can even help and get all our local businesses. We want these businesses back in action. We love them. They're part of our community. Let's all work together to bring them back.
And where can they find the podcast?
On nccradio.org.
That's
under
right.
my hometown.
Right. So my first question is, so a lot of people are stuck inside, they're socially distancing and they're staying in, and they're using apps like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. I certainly have been. Do you like these apps? Have they helped or have they hurt your businesses? Do you make less profit when customers use them? Or would you rather they call you directly and pick up, or does it not really matter in the scheme of things? We'll start with Matt.
So I had gotten set up with all 3 delivery services because I was going to use them anyway before this all hit. So they're all up and running. If you saw what New York City did last week, I think that'll start to happen more around the country. These guys are charging mafia-type rates to deliver food. So for every $100 that goes out of the restaurant, an Uber Eats or a Grubhub takes 30% of it. So it's good in off times when you're trying to drive sales, say between like Dunkin' Donuts does in their off hours, trying to get people to get coffee between 11 and 1 o'clock. So when you can drive certain specials and sales during that time, it's useful to not have your own delivery person and to use their network and, get some sales that way. But when it becomes a third of your business, which mine is right now, it's a ton of money in fees. But nevertheless, if I didn't have it on, I would be getting $0. So I'd rather be getting 7 out of every $10 than 0. So going forward, I would hope that they can cap the fees on this. New York City just capped them at 20%. I think that'll start to flow over. 20% is reasonable, because if you start to calculate the cost of having delivery guys and the logistics of getting out a lot of orders during the heavy rush, it's actually more expensive to have your own network. Plus, you got to develop an app then by yourself, then you got to push the app. So at 20%, it makes a ton of sense. 30% is a lot of money when it's a lot of the business.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking with 3 local restaurateurs to find out how they are surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. Our guests are Matt O'Hara, owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located in Front Street in East Meadow, Joe Reale and Javier from Popeyes in Bethpage, and the owner of Cool Z Gluten Free in Plainview, Deborah Zeitlin. Joe and Javier, how do you feel?
I think they're, they've definitely helped out a lot of people during this time. That 30%, payment is a lot. It is hard to sustain that. A lot of restaurants, are unable to sustain the 30% of every bill. Mm-hmm. But given the circumstances right now, I do believe they are keeping all of us going right now. So hopefully with the future cap, down to the 20% and whatever other promotions they could do to help out the restaurants would be very helpful towards us. But at the moment, without them, I don't know what would be going on, actually. We'd probably be in a lot more trouble. So right. At the moment, they are a savior.
Right. And Deborah, you mentioned in the last show that you actually do a lot of the deliveries yourself. Are you also utilizing some of these apps? Are you on Uber Eats? Are you on DoorDash?
Well, I investigated them. I think they're wonderful, but there are 2 problems for me. Number one, there's no way I can afford 30%. I just can't do it. So I can't use them for that reason. But I also can't use them because they refuse to pick up from a private home as opposed to a commercial site. Mm. So they won't come to me. So I've had no choice. And seeing as how this is my business and I have no employees, I'm doing absolutely everything, including delivery. And it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's got to be difficult for sure. Bill?
To all our guests, I'm just wondering, as Corey was asking you that question, what about gift cards? Is that something that's helpful to your business? Or is it maybe even there's another innovative way that we as radio people and to our audience out there can actually help you and help us? Are there new innovations that you see coming in that we'll be seeing as the businesses open back up? Let's start with Matt.
Bill, I think the problem with gift cards, it's kind of like it's another kind of GoFundMe strategy where you do raise some money in the beginning to stay open. I think the PPP loans are there for that. Also, if you've got these people that are really hell-bent on contactless delivery, you don't know when the restaurant's going to open again, it's difficult to use the gift card without going out to get it from them. You can't do it over the phone. It doesn't have a number. It's got to be swiped. From my end, anyway, we created them when we opened here. So that's a little bit of a problem. Some people had that idea when this whole thing started, we'll promote your gift cards and whatever. And it's kind of charitable. But then what happens is all restaurant owners know when you see that gift card come in, even though you get the sales now, it's something in the future that, you don't know if you're going to give the customer the best experience with the takeout food. You don't know when you're going to reopen. Is it going to be a problem for them to use it? So me personally, I'd rather not drive funding that way.
So what can people do to help keep their favorite restaurants afloat? I would be very upset if a few restaurants that I go to a lot went out of business because I could always cook at home, but sometimes they make it better than I ever could. Joe, let's start with you. What can people do other than ordering out or a gift card? What can people do?
Listen, they just got to support their local favorites. That's pretty much the best thing they could do. If people are able to go out and they want, to keep their local hotspots going, utilize them. The social media is huge. If somebody had a great hamburger, a great lobster, put it up on social media. Let people know about it. Try to drive as much as you can for your local guys. Like I always say, we're in this together. We'll get out of this together. but we have to work together.
Right. A lot of people lost their jobs, so they might not have money to order takeout the same way that they used to. So maybe like posting something on Facebook, hey, try the roast beef burger or whatever at so-and-so's. And then people who do have money who are still working will go and order there. And that's how you you think that's a good strategy?
We try to give, we try to give specials. I post Facebook specials. I'll do like $10 dinners, in order to help out the community I want to do my part in everything as well to give back. So, like I said, we'll do a bunch of $10 specials throughout the night, just so, everybody has the opportunity to get a good hot meal.
That's a great give back. And I'm just wondering to everybody, I found that even day to day, while we go through these things, and I guess it's just the nature of learning, that we find new and better ways to do things. Every place I'm going in has either a plexiglass or something which I'll call in common language a shower curtain over at the post office, or some ways that they've already developed. When I come back, I say, this is much more efficient. I'll call in my order. I'll go over there. They have a bag with my name on it. I give them a credit card. I'm in and out. It's less than a minute. Are there ways that you're each finding for your businesses that things could be done either more efficiently for you, for the customer, or both of you, or maybe just better? And let's start this time with Deborah.
A lot of things haven't changed for me as far as my practices. So again, I'm in a different situation because I don't have a commercial site, but everything is wiped down 2 or 3 times instead of 1 or 2. I'm still practicing health safety precautions, and I always did and I always will. So in that way, things haven't really changed.
More deliveries for you, I guess?
There's more personal deliveries. In other words, I'm out on the road more frequently. But other than that, because my sales have been so low, I think that for me, it's making sure in any way I can that customers understand that even though my situation is a home processing situation, it's no less clean, and it's still all the health safety precautions that any other business would use, and it's licensed that way.
How about Joe and I'm sorry.
Nope, that's
Joe and Javier.
Listen, we've learned to adapt from being a sit-down restaurant to a takeout facility. How to follow, procedures to keep everything safe that way, to keep the quality of the food up to par as you would to get it if you were sitting down at the table. That's a whole new learning experience.
Also, everything that we learn, we're still perfecting it. So it's not we stop. We just keep continuing finding better ways to make people more safe. So we adapting. Come up with new ways to do it faster. The takeouts to do it that way, so everybody feels more comfortable. So we're still not, even though our takeout system is like really efficient from when we started, it was like okay to when we are now, very, very efficient. But now we still come up with different ideas so we can do it better.
Always aiming to do it better, and that's the right way too. That's what makes businesses grow, and that's why you've been around for 40 years.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking with 3 local restaurateurs to find out how they are surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. Our guests are Matt O'Hara, owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located in Front Street in East Meadow, Joe Reale and Javier Iza from Popeyes in Bethpage, and the owner of Cool Z Gluten Free in Plainview, Deborah Zeitlin. There's a lot of working class people on Long Island who, even before this, were living, paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. And this problem, this coronavirus, everybody's out of work. It's only exacerbated the problem. And what you're seeing is long lines of cars at food banks, at churches, people trying to just get something to eat. And a lot of businesses have pitched in to donate food to these charities. And I was wondering if any of you we're doing anything to help the community by donating meals to people who might have lost their job. I'll start with Deborah.
Well, I think it's wonderful that restaurants are coming through, and even though their sales are hurting, they're able to donate things to either first responders, hospitals, whomever, the food pantries, and everywhere that's required. One of the things that no one has done, and I can say no one, I have heard absolutely nothing about it, is thought about the people who have food issues and food allergies. And I have called, I can't tell you how many places, because gluten-free people have been ignored in this whole thing. And there have to be people who need special services as far as the kind of things that are offered donation-wise with food. And I can't find a single place that will talk about anything gluten-free.
That's a great point, because we do forget that, and that people do have special needs. Gluten-free is one of the better known ones, and yet I guess that's still a problem, right?
It's a very big problem, which is one of the reasons I started my business when I started it. I have celiac, and so I know what it's like. And if you're in a hospital and you have, all the hospital workers or all the people in the food pantries looking for food, there are people who are not being serviced because no one is paying any attention to these needs.
Joe, what are you doing to help the community?
Yeah, we've done quite a few donations. We're always there for the people because they've always been there for us. We've done quite a few group homes. I've had quite a few emails from some local people that were in times of need, and we've whether delivered or picked up. They picked up their food. We're always there. We blast out, like I say, our social media. At the bottom of my social media, I always give my email address, joe@popeisbethpage.com. If anybody's ever in need of a hot meal, we're there for everybody. Javier has been working with Alyssa over at Dine in Long Island. We sent food over to the hospital. Javi, what hospital we sent that to?
It was North Shore University on labor.
So yeah, we sent nice hot meals over there. So
yes,
we're there. We want to help out as anybody as much as we can. We're there. So like I said, donating a hot meal to whoever's in need. That's what we're about. That's what we've been doing.
We have received many emails about that, and we have to send people back, because that's the best way to give back, so we can get back, to help each other out.
Joe and Javier, I'm just going to interrupt to say thank you on behalf of all our listeners, because we forget about that and the local restaurants and what a great job they do and the people they help out. It's kind of a quiet gift. You don't make a big fuss about it. We don't see it. Naturally, it happens internally. You send it over from the restaurant or somebody picks it up. But thank you to your restaurant, Popeyes, and to all of the people who are taking part in that, and even the restaurants who are not on the show today. They're doing a great job, and just another reason why we all have to work together to get you guys back up and running and prosperous again. In these difficult times, we all know our own business is the best. What is it that we as the consumer can do to kind of help you, aside from obviously lining up? And I'll do my best. I'll eat 2 and 3 hamburgers every time I come in. But of course, I'm just kidding right now. What can we do to make business a little easier, to make it a little better, and to get things up and running again to help you? Let's start, Deborah.
Well, I think that the more we pay attention to social distancing and all the things that we're supposed to do, the faster we will get through this crisis. And I think that's the first thing. The second thing is obviously support your local favorites. And when you have a great experience, put that out on social media, put it out to friends, family, put it out to everyone you can think of, because if we're not supported as local businesses, we're not going to make it. So, whether we're in business 40 years or 40 minutes, there are businesses who have closed, shuttered, and they've been in business longer than 40 years because their landlords are difficult and they can't pay their rent or whatever it is. And the more you can support in any way, I offer gift certificates and, everything I can. And I think we're all doing that. And as long as we continue to do that and people continue to support local businesses, that's the only way to do it.
And Deborah, what is your website? Tell our audience.
So at this point, I'm in the process of revamping the website, so it's not on. But I do have a Facebook page, Cool Z's Gluten Free at facebook.com, and it's all one word. And I'm also on Instagram, and that's how they can reach me. And Cool Z's Gluten Free at gmail.com.
Easy enough to remember. How about Joe and Javier? Do you have a website we should know about?
Yes, we're Popeyes, Bethpage.com.
And that's easy
Popeyes
enough.
Clam Bar on Facebook. That's easy enough.
You can visit Brooklyn Dip and Burger at thebrooklyndip.com. So it's been a pleasure dealing with everybody today, talking and learning about the inside of the restaurant business. We want to remind our audience we've been talking to Matt O'Hara. He's the owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located on Front Street in East Meadow. Joe Reale and Javier Isa from Popeyes in Bethpage. And Deborah Zeitlin, she's the owner of Cool Z's Gluten Free in Plainview. Please patronize these amazing people and let them know you appreciate what they're doing for your community. I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Corey Kaufman. Thanks for listening to this special edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC at ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.